Okay, so welcome back. Thus far, we have covered a good amount, but let's go a few steps further. And as always, I'm just gonna open up hashcat-help. Why? Well, I'm not a memorizing machine, and it's a little bit easier to explain like this. And let me just roll over to some of the commands that I have used before. Okay, so hashcat and then -m for the type of encryption, and then -a for the type of attack, and then we need the file. And now we're going to go ahead and specify a mask. So instead of a mask here, you can also specify basically the file containing a set of masks. So you can automate the process in such a way. And hashcat can also be fed information, but depends which program you're using to feed the information to hashcat. That's gonna affect your performance. The best possible option, in my opinion, is to have the hashcat perform all the operations that it needs to perform. And probably the slowest one is to actually read from a dictionary file. In my opinion, anyway, don't hold me to my word, because I'm pretty sure that your graphic card will be able to process information faster than it will be able to read them from your disk. So the best possible option, in my opinion, is to actually have a list or process one mask at a time. And personally, I don't like lists of masks because if you have greater than 8 in terms of a length, you're going to want to you won't be able to basically if you have a combination of characters, uppercase, lowercase, numbers, etc., and if it's like maybe not greater than 8, but let's say greater than 10, it's not going to finish in any reasonable amount of time. I mean, it's going to take like 2-3 months to finish. And if you go up to 16 or something like that, that's going to convert itself into decades. It all depends on how many graphic cards you have, how fast they are, and how well does it all work, and how lucky you are, basically. So let's go ahead and specify our first mask that I would like to try out. So we have created some sort of a set of our own assumptions, and the first assumption is that the mask will contain, the first letters that it will contain will be, the first characters that it will contain will be letters. So let's go ahead and type in letters. Where is it? So the first mask will also start with the lowercase, so -l, -l, -l. Okay, and the rest of the mask can be numbers. So let me just do this right. Oh wait, it's of course I'm going to make an error there. Numbers are D. Let me just see if I got this right. And no, I didn't. Control C is the universal interrupt. Let me just count this one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this should be the right mask. But if you just leave it like this, it's going to take an eternity of time. As you can see here, even with 191,000 combinations per a second, it's going to take 10 years. So if I could plug in another 3 graphic cards into my PC, that's another maybe 300,000 combinations added to this, depending on which graphic cards. If you use the latest NVIDIA, I think the benchmarks for VPA2 hashes is 370,000 per a graphic card. So if you have like 5 of them, that's 5 times 370,000, which is a lot. So this is how many combinations there are, and let's actually do a simple calculation. Okay, so let me just nullify this and paste this number in, and then this is not, oh, okay, I do have it. So divided by, and we're gonna say 5 times 370,000. Okay, I'm pretty sure that calculation is off. Me and my calculator skills are amazing. So let's just do it like this. Cancel everything and type in 5 times 370,000. That equals to 1.8 million. So let's leave it at that. And now 1.8 million. So let's go ahead and divide this number with 1.8 million. Okay, so divided by 1.85 and then 123 equals. So this is the amount of seconds that would be needed in order to complete this task. Okay, so let's divide this with the amount of seconds in an hour to get this in terms of hours to get a bit of a better perspective. Okay, so you would need 68,000 hours. That's a lot. Let's get the number of days. So 24 equals, so 2,800 days. And let's divide this further by, well, I actually wanted to divide it by 30, but here, let me just do this. 2850 divided by 30, which is the amount of days in a month. It would be 95 days. That's about 3 months. Actually, it would be 95 months if my oh god, I've lost myself in these calculations. But that's besides the point. I just got lost a little bit. But that's besides the point completely. What I'm trying to tell you here is that even though if you had that much power, if you know nothing about the password, and if you don't help the hashcat out with the masks, with the proper masks, you're going to basically be stuck without being able to do this. I mean, this is going to work, and in 10 years, it's going to give you the proper combination, most likely a little bit before 10 years, depending on where the password is along the memory list. But years is not something that's realistic. Something that's semi-realistic is months. Something that's realistic are, and something that would be realistic are weeks. So what we need to do is we need to make assumptions, blind guesses, and help out the hashcat out. So you can assume that the passwords of pretty much any wireless access point out there will contain letters first. So you can have one set for the ones that begin with an uppercase letter, and you can have one set that does not begin with an uppercase letter. And if you can also make assumptions that people will generally put like 1, 2, 3 here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. The people will generally put numbers such as 1, 2, 3. And if you run that, you're going to get a custom char set undefined. Okay, you cannot have a question mark here. And if I run that again, stats. So you see, the time becomes immediately far more realistic. It says in 2 days and 18 hours, I am going to complete. So what you're doing is you're doing guesswork between 8 and 16 characters, and you're creating masks in between 8 and 16 characters. So what you're experimenting with letters and numbers, and you're just moving and you're just reducing and increasing the amount of letters and numbers and that should finish in far less time than anything else, really. Because pure brute forcing without any sort of guesswork is not really a realistic option at all. So if I do stats, it's actually working, and this will finish in some reasonable amount of time, I guess. Just to show you how the output looks like when it does work, let me help the system out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Of course, a dictionary attack would work far better against this particular password, but in general, it doesn't work that well, as dictionaries are basically region specific. If you're in the US, you're in luck, because there are a lot of dictionaries for the English speaking areas. And if you type in all the numbers here, the amount of combinations is really small, and it only finished 36%. So there you go. It says something, and then the ESSIDs, and then it gives you the password. So this is what I was talking about, that chance factor, the luck factor. It only finished 36% of possible combinations, and it actually found the password, which is anything short of incredible. I was a little bit lucky and the way that the password is arranged, but as I said, you have a chance that you don't actually need to go through the whole brute forcing process. Actually, I don't think that you will ever go through the entire process to 100% unless you are extremely unlucky. And let me give you examples of the masks. They are actually contained within the folder where you have downloaded Hashcat, where you have extracted Hashcat, sorry. And if you go cd masks ls, and then if I don't know, I'm gonna cat one of them out. Let's cat this one out. Why not? You see, they have a set of rule sets here for the passwords. So you can create your own rule set like this, and then pass this file. You can just put this file instead of a mask here. Be sure to specify the path to the file, and then it's going to take one mask after another. Make sure that the masks fit within a certain rule range, that it needs to be 8 or greater than 8. And then you can say, okay, I would like you to try the mask, I don't know, try first 4 letters, then type in 1, 2, 3, and then state some numbers afterwards, and then try mask some letters 1, 2, 3, and have nothing afterwards, or something like that. And then you can have a ton load of custom maps where you yourself insert certain characters and try some guesswork, and that will give you realistic timings. It won't give you unrealistic timings like 10, 20 years or something like that. Actually, I don't think Hashcat tells you if it's above 10 years. It just tells you that it's more than 10 years. And of course, you're not going to proceed with it because it's more than 10 years. But you know, you might be lucky and you might get the proper combination in 2 days. You never know, right? So with this, I'm going to go ahead and bid you farewell. And I would strongly advise you to play around with Hashcat to your heart's content, because it all really comes down to the masks with Hashcat. You get a great speed boost, but you still need to help the system out to a certain extent. You go on the net, see the word lists for the dictionary attacks, and take a look at them a little bit. Take a look at what sort of passwords do people use, and based upon that, you can be constructing your masks. Anyway, bid you farewell, and hope to see you soon, actually, because we're going to be doing some cool stuff later on as well.